Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Thursday Night Sports Zone. I am your host, Jake Levine. I'm joined by Jay Lathan and Jose Moreno, and we are going to start off this show by talking about some Texas Rangers baseball. They took a loss last night to the Houston Astros, 8-5 in Arlington, but did win the first two games of the series, so they're up 2-1. Jose, tell me, what happened last night? How did the Astros come out on top?
So the Astros just kind of came out throwing punches like it was nothing. I mean, they were smacking the Rangers in Dallas pretty bad. I mean, they went up, like 7-1 at one point around that? Yeah. Just not a good performance by Texas. They kind of brought it back later on at the end of the game, but just couldn't necessarily kind of capitalize on it. And I think it's kind of scary because as we've seen in the past, this is around the time when Houston starts to wake up in a series. A little fun stat I saw last night was anytime Houston starts the series 0-2 or 2-0, they will win that series. They're a team of momentum. They win games in multitudes, not spread out throughout a series like how the Rangers usually do. And that's something scary that you have to watch out with this team, really.
Jay?
I would agree with what he said, man. This team sees a Globe Life as the home away from home, honestly. Like, they're 7-1, so yeah. They're 7-1 at Globe Life, and last night it just showed that, like, hey, they're comfortable playing away, which actually they do have a better record away than they do home, which is very untraditional. They're 51-30 away from home right now, and it was good to see Altuve swing a hot bat, get a post in there. Jordan, who's your daddy?
What a beast.
Who's your daddy, man? It just deletes balls every time, bro. And I really want to see Kyle Tucker going. Like, Kyle Tucker is just a guy that, like, he's really one of the core pieces of this team, and we're winning games without him being hot. That is a dangerous sight.
Yeah, no, definitely. Oh, wait, we are winning games?
I am a Houston native.
Oh, my gosh.
Astros.
The Rangers are now 7-1 in the postseason, took their first loss the other night. So before this game, I mean, even after this game, we could still be thinking this. Do the Rangers potentially have the best roster left in the postseason out of the four teams left? I don't think I'm onto something crazy here. I mean, you've got Garcia and Young. You know, if Scherzer happened to be good in the postseason, that would be crazy, right? But you've got Eovaldi in the pitching mound. Jay, what do you think? Is it possible to say the Rangers have the best roster left in the postseason?
I mean, when you look at the tape, I wouldn't be opposed to saying that. But when you're just looking on paper, I think they're playing the most well-rounded team left. Besides, Philly, who's just a really streaky team. Nobody wants to see them. Houston, they just got depth all the way around between a great rotation, which I would say is better than what's going on in Dallas. And then I would also agree with you in saying that Scherzer is terrible. He actually just seen a stat that he has the worst ERA in the playoffs in this past decade.
I've seen that. Yeah.
So with the amount of depth that this team has, and then like the playoff experience, which I think is a heavily underrated thing as of late, I will give the Rangers their defense. I feel like they have a little edge, but overall, I think the Astros have the best roster left. Max
Scherzer is showing a lot of similar traits to Clayton Kershaw. I feel like Kershaw, every year we get that meme of him on his knees on the mound when he gives up a home run to some team like the Diamondbacks. Jose, what do you think? Can the Rangers have the best roster left?
Are you kidding me, man? You're jumping the gun there. I don't think you guys even have the best roster in your own division. Truly, I mean, you're kind of undermining this Astros team. I mean, they 4 World Series appearances in like 5 years? These guys are studs. I mean, this is probably one of the best all-time teams ever in 10 years. And I'm not even an Astros fan. I'm not even like this guy who glazes them. I hate the Astros, That's what I think of them. Always sending mixed messages But
what about that last World Series, though?
I don't care. You guys still cheated for your first one.
That's true.
A cheater's a cheater. I don't care. I love Mark McGwire, but everyone's going to call him a juicer, and he doesn't like juicing. In that aspect. But truly, I think you're kind of jumping the gun there. This Astros team, again, playoff experience. They've won the World Series last freaking year. You still have the core there, deep, like still there. I don't think the Rangers are even there yet. And again, they're just now getting there. In 3 years, then we can talk maybe the best roster in baseball. But right now, no, you're maybe, 10th probably, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Jay might be taking a little offense to this, but let's talk real quick. How's the rest of this series going to go? Rangers up 2-1. How do we see it finishing, Jay?
I say if they even up this series, the Rangers should be absolutely scared. And the longer this series goes, the more dangerous it gets as the Astros become a better team with more experience. I say Astros in 7.
I think Game 7 is going to happen. And you know what? I'm going to be Mr. Not You, and I'm going to pick against you. And I'm going to say I think the Rangers barely edged them out in Game 7 off of a miracle walk-off grand slam homer. I think we're going to go to extra inning, Game 7, and I think in just a shocking moment, we're going to see Adolis Garcia just knock it home for everyone, and I think that's going to lead into the next round, a miracle.
Well,
that miracle
I would love
doesn't
to see
happen.
Adolis hit a home run to win the game on the road. That would be something special. Never before seen in baseball. I think the Rangers win it in 6. Go Rangers. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the Cowboys and Rams preview, so stay right with us.
And now we return to Fabric of Passion.
Oh, Hector, it will be so hard for us to part, but we must.
But, my love, what did I do? I thought we were meant to be together forever.
I am so disheartened to say that you're just not in style anymore. But you will be, to someone else, in a better place.
You're gonna shred me?
No.
I'm donating you to one of the many clothing donation boxes available on campus. There is one in the Union by the Syndicate and one on Union Circle Drive.
Oh, well, why didn't you just say so? I'm gonna be someone's new shirt.
I thought you'd be more distressed.
Oh, absolutely not. It was cramped in your closet anyways.
Maybe you would like to be shredded after all.
Welcome back to SportsZone. I'm your host, Jake Levine. I've got Kendall Keaton and Jalen Bullock with me. We're going to be talking about Jerry Jones' Dallas Cowboys. They snuck out a 20-17 win against the LA Chargers. They're going to be going up against the other LA team, the Rams, coming up this Monday, I believe, actually. So, guys, tell me quick thoughts on the win against the Chargers in LA. Jalen, what do you think?
It was a great win, a very quality win. Close game, Cowboys played very well in the second half. Dak went 21 for 30, 272 yards passing. He had 40 yards on the ground, which is very big. We want to see him. He had 7 carries, actually, and that's something that we want to see more of going forward.
Yeah, definitely. I like the balance of the offense last game. Kendall, what do you think?
I agree. I feel like Dak is at his best when he is using his legs. So the touchdown run, the pocket presence, it's all very, it showed resiliency, and I would like to see more of that through him. So if Mike can continue to call plays like that, then I feel like we can be a legit team.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. I mean, it was a solid win in LA against the Chargers. Chargers are not a bad team at all. They've had consistent success the past few years. And so we are going to be talking about this game coming up against the Rams now. The Rams are 3-3. This is better than they were last year, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody's talking about how the Rams were so bad last year after winning the Super Bowl. So what kind of game can we expect this to be? An improved Rams team from last year. Sean McVay is still the head coach there, still doing it there. Jalen, what do you think? Can the Cowboys expect a close game here?
I think most definitely. I feel like the Rams have a very dynamic offense, especially with Cooper Kupp coming back. And then that just gem of a rookie in Puka. Their offense is very different than the 49ers, but it's very potent. Matthew Stafford can throw the ball, to the next city. So it's definitely, especially, we're going to really see how the corners are going to perform in this one, and it's definitely going to be a very close game, I want to say.
I agree. It'll be a close game, and as long as they could keep Matthew Stafford, allow him to not be in the pocket and force him out of it, put pressure on him, they should, be able to
I
make
agree.
a close game.
Yeah, Matt Stafford's getting up there in age. He's not going to be scrambling out of the pocket too much. He's going to be looking for his receivers downfield. They do have a pretty good receiving core. The Rams do. And so we are going to be talking about this Dallas Cowboys offense and how it compares to the Rams. The Cowboys average just over 200 passing yards per game. Dak has not had the same year that we've seen in the past, right? But the Rams offense, Matt Stafford's up there in age, and he's still doing it. They're averaging about 300 passing yards per game. So how do the Cowboys stop the air game? We said these constant receivers that are lighting up the field. Matt Stafford's still throwing the ball at his age. Kendall, what do you think? How are the Cowboys going to stop the passing game?
They're probably not going to be able to, but like I stated previously, if they put pressure on him, if they put pressure on Matthew Stafford, force him out of the pocket, and put some good corners or safeties on Cooper and Puka, they should be able to stuff their offense.
Get cold picks there. Jalen, what do you think? How are they going to stop the pass game?
Kendall mentioned it greatly. We need those safeties. We're going to need the corners to really step up. I feel like we're not highlighting enough the third option threat, and then Tyler Higbee or Tutu Atwell. Tutu is a very good receiver, has been since his days at Louisville. And I really don't know if they're going to be able to stop them, but I also feel like the linebackers, Micah Parsons in particular, they're going to have to step up and really dominate the middle of the field.
Yeah, I agree with you. And so that brings us to our next point, player of the game. Like I say every week, it's going to have to be Dak Prescott. I mean, just straight up, he needs to start performing. You need your quarterback. You need your star quarterback to start performing. Kendall, who's your player of the game to watch out for the Dallas Cowboys?
I like Darren Bland, of course. He's a consistent player, in my opinion. He's just a really good cornerback, honestly. We lost Trayvon Diggs, and he's a good second man up to him. So I feel like if he plays his game, we can be able to have a successful and good game.
Jalen, who's your guy?
As I spoke on, I want to go Micah Parsons here, but also the entire linebacker group, really.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And so let's talk about a score prediction. I mean, we said that this could be a close game, right? The Rams are a better team than they were last year. I think it's going to be more of, say, a 27-20 win for the Cowboys. I think they pull out a win, but I think it's a scare, right? I think the Cowboys could get kind of lit up just because, they probably should beat the Chargers by more. Kendall, what's your score prediction?
I have 34-31 Cowboys. I'm biased, so.
High-scoring game. I like that.
For sure.
Jalen, what do you think?
Compared to you, Jake, I want to go the opposite way. I want to go 28-21 Rams winning.
Rams winning. Think the Rams are getting over 500?
I think they are.
All right, well, I can't wait for that. So we are going to stick with football, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about the North Texas Mean Green in their game coming up against the Tulane Green Wave in New Orleans. So stay right with us.
Man, I have all these non-perishable food items, and I don't know what to do with them.
I don't have any food at all.
Do you have too many non-perishable goods?
Yeah.
Have you run out of food and can't get any more?
Yeah.
Well, don't have a cow. Head on down to the UNC Food Pantry. Located behind Crumley Hall and Diamond Eagle Student Resource Center, the Food Pantry is the place for UNC students to get all the food they need. You'll be utterly surprised by all the options they have there. From gluten-free to lactose intolerant, even vegan and vegetarian, they have it all. Go to studentaffairs.unt.edu/foodpantry for more information.
Move on down to the UNC Food Pantry.
That was a really good movie.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah, so we have to watch the next one before next class, right?
We do?
I think so, but it's not on Netflix and it's not on Hulu, so
Man, I don't want to pay for that.
so what do we do?
You think there's a place we could go to get the movie?
I'm not sure, maybe?
Oh,
There's a place to get the movie.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, it's right here on campus. Come on, I'll show you.
Welcome back to Thursday Night Sports Zone. I'm your host, Jake Levine. I'm joined by Sydney Johnson and Matthew Watson. We're going to be talking about the North Texas Mean Green. They got back up to 500, 3-3 on the year, 1-1 in the conference, first win in the American against Temple, 45-14. I want our quick thoughts on this game, Sydney.
So in my opinion, Chandler Rogers led the team with 4 touchdowns and 307 passing yards. Although they didn't have the best track record starting off this season, I think that this game was kind of what them getting comfortable and finding their groove looks like, and that's ultimately what we all want to see. The Temple defense left a lot of opportunities wide open for UNT to gain the advantage, and that's exactly what they did. So yeah, that's how I feel about it.
I feel the exact same way. I think they also looked the best on the field in those black jerseys. They look sleek, they look fast, they look good. Chandler Rogers looks great. He's thrown for 12 touchdowns now in his past 4 games since he's been a starter. And in those past 4 games, the team's averaged over 40 points. So you're looking at a good quarterback, a good decision by the coach to start him.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it's just an all-around solid game by UNT. I mean, first home game in the American. Can't ask for much better, to be honest, offense or defense. So this is going to be UNT's toughest game coming up. They're going down to New Orleans to play the Tulane Green Wave, who are ranked 23rd in the nation. Ranked game, pretty big. So straight up, do we have a chance of winning, Sydney? Do we have a shot?
Looking at the 2 teams' records for this season so far, honestly, I think Tulane has UNT beat. I think if they're able to bring that home game groove that they had this past weekend on the road with them, they might have a fighting chance to bring home the win. But honestly, I want to be optimistic, but it's not looking too hot.
Matthew, are the 20-point underdogs have a shot here?
No, they're 20-point underdogs for a reason. I mean, Tulane's defense is only allowing 18 points per game. I mean, that's something that's a top-level defense, and that's a reason why they were pulled top to win the, in the preseason to win the American again. That's why Tulane is going to probably wash the floor with us. It might be respectable because the last 2-3 games, Tulane's won by only 10, but I don't expect it to be only 10 now. I expected 20 points. Seems like pretty fair. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And so UNC Chandler Rogers is now the starting quarterback, and he has had an incredible start to his tenure at UNT, grad transfer from Louisiana Monroe, and he's got 12 touchdowns to 1 interception. One of only a few guys to be doing this in college football this year. The Rogers to Macklin connection has been pretty awesome to see. So how did the change from Stone Earl at quarterback to Chandler Rogers at quarterback really help this team? Matthew, I want your thoughts on this.
Well, I think it really helped this team because it got the team surrounded on a guy that they all have confidence on. Yeah. I thought Stone Earl, once he started throwing picks, the team lost their confidence. Once this guy, Chandler Rogers, he's a transfer. Okay, this guy's played and he's had experience before. Okay, he comes in, he starts throwing the ball, he's not turning it over. That boosts confidence, that boosts morale for the whole team. And he's shown it. He's shown the ability to make passes whenever they count and whenever they're needed. He's dominating, quite frankly.
I totally agree with Matt and what he said. Rogers might be new to UNT's in-season roster, but he's a skilled player that demonstrates experience every time he steps out on the field. Honestly, the 2 quarterbacks are kind of neck and neck when it comes to physical build. They're both around 6 foot in the same kind of weight bracket, but where Rogers separates himself is just his experience. Earl just simply doesn't have the seasoned player experience that Rogers has to dominate the UNT's offense.
I totally agree with you guys. I mean, I think the shift is kind of what everybody was asking for, right?
Yeah.
You look all over Twitter, Chandler Rogers needs to play because he's coming into the second halves and bringing us back in the game. So very glad he's at quarterback now. You're doing great, Chandler. Tulane, like I said, 5-1 now, 2-0 in the conference. So do we think that anybody is really capable of catching this team in this conference? Sydney, what do you think?
I'm going to have to go with no. You know, Tulane's coach is a very experienced and accomplished coach, is one of the best college coaches that we have that we're seeing today. So, you know, he was a candidate for the Dodd Trophy. He won last year. So I think that this coach is able to take any squad that he's presented with and really make it work to the best of his ability.
Well said. I mean, that's perfectly said. Tulane, they were polled preseason top 10 even in all of AP. And, you know, maybe last year you could even consider going into this season that they could be in the CFP because they beat USC last year to end the season. You know, they lost pretty early to Mississippi, so that's probably squandered. But, yeah, Tulane's probably going to run away with it. Maybe possibly SMU can catch them, but I just don't think so. I think it's Tulane's to lose. And Tulane's probably a top 10 team at the end of the year and maybe a New Year's Six Bowl too. So it's just tough. Because UNT's also got they got SMU next week as well after this, right? Like it's going to be tough sledding for UNT in the American.
Very tough schedule coming up for the Mean Green. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about the first AP poll for college basketball. So don't go anywhere.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Let's get started. This is a motor vehicle. This is the blinker mechanism. To use it, push it up for the right blinker and down to go left. You're welcome. It was easy.
It's that time of year where everyone plays a dangerous game with the flu. Going in uneducated, you run the risk of symptoms like cough, migraine, and fatigue. Don't be like this guy. Combat the flu with cough drops, ibuprofen, and a good night's sleep. Be smart, don't catch the flu.
All right, look up here. 1, 2, 3. Mom, Dad, I got it.
You're right, Mom. I have.
Welcome back to Thursday Night Sports Zone. I'm your host, Jake Levine. I'm joined by Tiger Ken and Kenzie Neely. And it is the best time of the year, folks, because college basketball is on the brink of coming back. We have our first AP poll. Kansas is ranked #1. There's a bunch of teams ranked too high, in my opinion. But that is what we are here to talk about. So, Kenzie Neely, I want a team that you think is ranked too high in the top 25 and shouldn't be as high as they are.
Understood. I chose Duke as mine.
Yeah.
Just because they are ranked at #2, right behind Kansas, and Kansas was ranked a little high, but you know, we'll talk about that another day. But I chose Duke because I saw Purdue right under them, and I think Purdue is going to be a killer this year because they fumbled so bad last year whenever it came to March Madness. But Zach Edey, the 7'4" center, he could have went to the NBA, but he chose to come back to Purdue because he has some redemption to have this year. So he's going to come in, and he's going to kill it this year. I'm excited to see it.
And I also want to hear your underrated team now, actually, because I am very intrigued by that pick, you know, especially the Purdue talk. Who's your underrated team, Kenzie?
My underrated team is going to be USC. Yeah, so not only because Bronny James is on there now, it's going to be a very exciting pick, but you also have Isaiah Collier. You have Boogie Ellis returning. You have Kobe Johnson returning. All guards, which is the only bad thing for USC, is they have a bunch of guards who are like 5-star athletes. They're amazing athletes that can be in the NBA draft any day now. But that's the only bad part is that they're all guards. So I think they deserve to be a little bit higher than 21 because it is going to be a good year for them, but I don't think that they should be like top 10.
Tiger, tell me, who's your two teams overrated first?
Yeah, I'm going to take the easy route, and I'm going to agree with her on the overrated team. I'm going to go with Duke. It's not because I think Duke has a bad roster per se. I just think they're poorly coached, and I think 2 is just a bit too high. I'm going to contradict myself there for a second and say that I think Duke is a team that can make a deep playoff run, just because they're really deep. And the big thing in the NCAA tournament is experience, and Duke has that. I know it's different from Duke in the past, which they've been one and done kind of guys. Now they have experience. You have a senior guard in Jeremy Roach, who I think is very good. So although I don't think Duke's the second best team in the country, I do think this is a team that could make a deep playoff run.
All right.
Or March Madness run, excuse me.
Who is your team that you think is ranked too low? You think they're going to be better than the experts think?
I think that Texas team is going to going to be a lot better than people think they're going to be.
Great year for Texas athletics, man.
Yeah,
How about it?
man? They have a lot of guys returning, especially their guard, Tyrese Hunter. I think he's very good, and I think guard play in college basketball matters a lot more than people think it does. I know college basketball is a bit behind the NBA in the fact that they still use their big men a lot. Zach Edey, like she mentioned, is still one of the best players in the country. He just won Naismith Player of the Year. But guard play gets you deep March Madness runs, and I think Texas is a team. They've got a couple of big transfer portal additions like WAC Player of the Year and Chendall Keaton from UT Arlington. This is a team that they ended the year off hot. They won the Big 12 tournament. They made an Elite 8 run. I feel like 18 is a bit too low. I don't think this is a top 5 team in the country, but your 8 to 12 range I feel is more appropriate for them.
Okay, yeah, no, I definitely like that pick a lot. My overrated pick, I think people are just way too high on this team right now. I know what happened last year, but FAU, come on, like number 10 team in the country.
Last year, the March Madness took everybody by surprise.
I know.
It destroyed so many.
It's a little too high for me. You've got Gonzaga under them. You've got Arizona under them. Let's be honest. If FAU is playing either of those two teams in a head-to-head matchup, we really think they're going to win that? I don't know, man. They also play in like a high school gym. It just doesn't fit with me. It just doesn't resonate with me.
They've got a lot of starters returning though. It's still a good team.
That's whenever you see a team that has a lot of starters coming back, then you're like, well, it might just be like last year, like Marquis and Duke.
Right.
Same thing.
Dusty May, head coach, is coming back too, but I don't know. I just don't see it in the cards for FAU to end up at 10th. And then my underrated team, Kansas State. Tell me about the Kansas State Wildcats, man. They've got the legend Tyler Perry going to their team, right? How can they not be ranked? And I feel like they're very similar team to last year. You still got Jerome Tang there. You've still got the fire there. You still got the swag there, right? They're in the Elite 8. Why are they unranked? Why are they unranked? I don't get it at all. They were pretty high seed last year too. I don't really understand what happened. So I want to hear you guys way too early national champion predictions.
Oh
Kenzie,
my
tell me real quick, who's winning it all?
Who's winning it all? Oh my gosh. Don't quote me on this anywhere in the future, but I'm going to say Purdue as of right now, just because I have so much faith and hope in Zach Edey. I really hope that 7'4" center can just get it done.
Taggart, who's winning it all, man?
Yeah, I heavy disagree with that. I think Duke's going to disappoint like they always do. The Notre Dame of college basketball. I'm going to take your route. A bit of a North Texas guy. Tyler Perry's my guy. I've hooped with him a couple times. He's super good. People are really underrating that Kansas State team. I don't know if they win it. I'm not going to go out and say there's a winner, but I think they make a deep run.
I love that pick. I agree with you, Taggart. Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Go watch news. Follow us, NTTV_sports on socials. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. Go Mean Green.